Good morning, Pastor Enoh.
morning.
It's a huge privilege, like a very big one. First off, I wore this dress because because the first time you saw me on the dress, you gave me a very sweet compliment, and I thought, okay, maybe I should wear the dress today again. So thanks for the compliment. That's why I'm wearing this
Thank
dress,
you.
and you're looking fantastic, by the
Thank
way.
you. Thank you.
Okay, so we can get straight up to our conversation. I want to know what makes Pastor Enoh Pastor Enoh. What
Hmm.
do you think makes you who you are? Because from my point of view, okay, a first encounter with you strikes like, I'm the no nonsense woman. Just stay away. If you cannot get yourself together, don't come close. Yeah, that's the first impression. Like, I think it's just your exterior. So I think. But, getting to know you, the very first day you gave me a hug, it felt like, wow. I told my sister in the house, I said, Pastor, hugged me today. She said, hmm? So there's a perception of you outside. So I want to know what makes you who you are and how you see yourself.
Okay, growing up, I heard a lot of people tell me you don't have a will. And I didn't intentionally start out to be someone who gives off a hard exterior.
Oh,
I think that people primarily don't like to be told the truth about what they should do. So I don't like things like lateness. I don't like indiscipline. I don't like people to take advantage of other people just because they can. There are certain things that I don't like, and I'm pretty vocal about it.
okay.
I really, I don't think that it should be done that way, and I'll tell you that it shouldn't be done that way. I used to be not tactless, but I used to shout a lot at some point in my early stages in leadership. But I also learned that some things can be said without shouting, without being too loud about it. I learned from my parents that things should be done in a proper way. My mom was a teacher. My dad used to get to work at Michelin as early as 5:30 a.m. So he was that kind of person. And I think everybody in my house literally have that kind of work attitude. In the Nigeria we live in today, even Christians are
Yeah.
not very conscious of being at their duty post on time. And those are some of the things that I just try to enforce wherever I am.
Okay.
So I teach a class, and in the class, I'll tell you, if you come 15 minutes after that class has started, don't bother because you won't get into my class. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm only trying to enforce what I think is right, because there are little things that we have lost over time. And it makes us more sloppy than we ought to be. It makes us never being in the moment. And we also lose productivity as a result of it. So maybe that's my way of giving back to the world by saying, we have to do things in a proper way. People have assumed that that's who I am.
The ethical side of you.
Yes.
Okay.
And so a lot of people, like in church, are afraid of me, don't want to come close because she's the disciplinarian and all of
Yeah.
that. But one of the first things that I learned as a Christian when I got born again was trying to be kind to people.
Okay.
The first time I read the book of Proverbs, it talks so much about kindness that it became how I wanted to be. So even though I try to enforce discipline, I also think that the world needs a whole lot of kindness. In fact, my personal mission, I think, is to put a smile on people's faces as much as is possible.
Okay.
So whether it's through the messages I preach or whatever I'm trying to do, I'm hoping that somebody leaves with a smile. somebody thinks the world is better because they encountered me. So maybe that's the disparity.
So how do you see yourself? In your eyes, what do you think of yourself? How do you see yourself?
I've never thought of the question, to be honest. I just hope that I represent God well.
Okay.
I just hope that I represent well without being an embarrassment to him, because I got into so much trouble growing up that
Give us one.
oh my world. um, okay, so I was in Federal Government Girls College at Bloma, and I had this group of friends who were, what do I call them? It wouldn't be fair to call them renegades. But I think as teenagers, they just wanted to explore, to be different, to do their own thing. Anyway, because they were originally my classmates, I had repeated a class through Abloma. So I still hung out with them. Now they were going to take their WAEC, and most of them had boyfriends in the federal government boys' college. So they were close to leaving. But on this particular day, I actually wasn't with them. I was with a prefect because I could make hair in school.
Oh.
So she had asked that I help her to make her hair. I was making her hair while the rest of the students were doing beautification. Our principal then will ask us to come plant flowers, and stuff. So they had their boyfriends come to visit them, and somebody reported them. But when they make the reports, they just put everybody in the group
together
there and sent it to the principal. And so the principal put everybody on suspension. They were supposed to come in from home because Abloma was an all boarding school at that time. They were supposed to come from home to come write their WAEC or something, but there were just two of us who were there who missed being in
with
their
them.
set.
Yeah.
So we now were on suspension. And the principal called for our parents to come. So the prefect whose hair I was making, at some point, I don't think she felt comfortable with it. She didn't even talk to me about it. But she went to the principal to say, you know what, we're doing something wrong. We're making hair when we should have been on the beautification ground. So I didn't talk about it before, but she was actually making my hair. So by the time my dad came, the principal was like, well, I got a different news that she wasn't amongst them and all of that, so she can come back to school. I think that was my first encounter with God, because I recall I was born Roman Catholic. So my parents used to do novenas. That's what the Catholics do. And I recall every evening after my name got to the principal, I'll go and pray, God, if you can save me from this. If you can save me from this, I promise I'll be good. I'll do whatever you want. So, so I did this novena for maybe like 5 days before the prefect went to talk to the principal. And then the principal now called my dad. When my dad came, they told my dad that there wasn't any need
sorted
anymore. My dad told me, Enoh, God saved you. I would have lined up all the men that I know and you'd have kissed all of them. Because the report was that we're kissing boys that came into school. That was such an experience. I told myself, no, you have to get better.
That was something.
Oh, yeah. I remember another one. We're going for March Past at the stadium. I think it was either October 1 or something. And we made up and went to the stadium. So one goody two shoes came and reported us to the principal, and they suspended us for
you
making
supposed to carry makeup.
Yes, at that time in school. We couldn't make up. You couldn't even, there were a lot of things we couldn't
certain hairstyles are not allowed.
Yes. So we were going to where there were going to be boys, so we're trying
You need to look cute.
Yeah.
Both boys. That's very understandable. But that's good. So you don't see. Do you see yourself more like? I know you're making efforts to be kind, but outside of the efforts you're making to be kind because you want to be like Jesus, do you think yourself a as a kind person, as an outgoing person, as an easygoing person? Just
One
all
of
of those.
my core values is simplicity. I try to be simple in anything I'm doing. I try to remove complexity as much as is possible.
Yeah.
To do that is some level of complexity, yes, I know. But so I try my dressing, the way I project myself, my makeup. In fact, recently I cut my hair, but before now, for I think maybe 2 years, I've always had all back hairstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've always had all back hairstyle because it's all part of that being
Being simple.
simple, you know. Truthfully, I see myself a little complex, open to loads of learning, but yet very willing to project simplicity. I would say a little complex because I don't do what everybody does.
Okay.
I am not generally a very outgoing person. So I prefer to go for a wedding service than go for a wedding reception.
You are rare.
I prefer to go. I think there's more value. That's my thought, my
Oh
perception,
Lord.
in going for a wedding service than
Then
going
the
for a wedding
reception.
reception. Just last week, I went for a wedding reception because the guy came and asked that I should do the opening prayer. And I waited there for 1.5 hours before they were dancing, before they were, I could feel myself getting very frustrated with the process. But it was their day, I couldn't do anything about it. And as soon as I finished that opening prayer, I was out of there because it's not somewhere I'd like. My favorite pastime would be, don't judge me, to listen to jazz music.
It's perfect. I cannot think of. I can't think. Well, I can think of a number of things that you can do, but yeah, listening to jazz works.
Yeah, when I was driving actively, I had the CDs like the Blues Brothers in my car, Najee, Kenny G. They were different jazz musicians. Nat King Cole that I'd listened to. And I felt like whenever I listen to jazz, it just ebbs. If I'm pressured, it just eases me, kind of, you know. So jazz music, a good book to read. Oh my, I could stay indoors all day. So I think I have mastered the art of entertaining self, that I don't get bored.
On your own.
Nah,
So
never get bored.
I kind of do that a lot of the time, but I know. Well, for my profession, I don't think it's good for me.
Yeah.
That's how I'll just wrap it up. For my profession, it's not good for me. But I think that's my person.
Yeah.
It's fun entertaining yourself.
Trust me.
Like you're listening to good music, you're dancing on your own, you're reading, you're watching a movie that you
Exactly.
prefer, and you call who you want to talk to because you don't want to
Exactly.
talk to quite a number of persons a lot of the time. I completely agree with you. I totally understand where you're coming from. But let's talk about your career. What influenced your being where you are at the moment?
When I first wrote JAMB, I wanted to study English. I think it was I put in my first JAMB form. But I didn't make the cutoff for English because apparently a lot of people were going to study English. And they looked at my results and said, oh, you did well in geography, so why don't you do geography? So that's how I got the first admission in geography. In that, I told you, my growing up years, I wasn't an emblem of or a model for anybody to copy. So in my first take in the university, that was University of Uyo, I was hanging out, partying from Thursday to Monday. This instance, I wasn't studying. I wasn't paying attention to my grades. However, I was smart. So every time I took an exam, I was probably top in my class because I would spend time reading just before the exams. So,
And your friends used to wonder, but how do you do it? All of us have been partying.
but the thing is that the school that I was in insisted on assessment.
Okay.
So they told me that I was advised to withdraw at the time in University of Uyo. I came back to the house, and by myself I bought JAM form, and because I started on geography and I found I was doing well in geography, I decided to do geography. And plus my mom was telling me that I couldn't make it doing geography. She thought it was too difficult for my brain. She just didn't have any trust in what I had the ability to do.
Okay.
So because of that, I went in for geography again. And this time I made a 2-1 to graduate. I was committed to doing better this time. I had changed my life. I did better as a human being in Uniport. Anyway, when I got that 2-1, shortly after, when I got my first job, I realized that I wasn't cut out to be a geographer.
So maybe your mother had seen something you did not see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Honestly, it was when I got my first job, because, it was difficult to get a job at first. And then I got a job in Xerox. And that job was, they employed us to pay attention to machines in shell environment. Now, while I was doing this, the director, who used to live on my street, coincidentally, told me that his secretary was going to Lagos for something and was going to be out. So he asked me to come sit in for her for some days. That period changed my life. I knew right after then that whatever I wanted to do with geography, whatever it wasn't working, that I needed to be in admin, So I started looking actively for jobs in admin.
Okay.
I started looking actively for jobs in admin. I got so many rejections trying to look for jobs, because I remember one of my sister's bosses. My sister studied engineering, by the way, and by this time she had done SITP for Shell, and she got accepted as a Shell engineer.
Okay.
So she had this boss, and she introduced me to her boss, and I was working in the Shell environment, so it was easy for me to have a meet with him. And he looked through my CV and told me, he said, you don't have any skills. And I said, I'm willing to learn. He goes through the CV, he trashed it completely, and set me out on my way. As I was going out, tears were pouring down my face, and my sister was trying to apologize, to say, I'm sorry.
Shouldn't have even put this together in the first place.
She was trying to apologize, say she was sorry and all of that. And I remember walking down that corridor, and God said to me, I'm going to send you through a school. And I was wondering, what kind of school? 3 weeks later, I got an invitation to come and work in House on the Rock the first time by our then pastor. And he said, come work in House on the Rock as admin, and then you also earn extra working as the partners admin. So I was the first person that started out the partnership, the Army of David, in House on the Rock. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in 2002. 2002. 2002 was when I started working in House on the Rock, because I worked from 2000 to 2001 middle 2002 before I started working in House on the Rock. So I worked in House on the Rock for a bit, and I remember at the point when I was like, I think I'm grown past this place. Somebody called. Then you would have a call in the office and say, well, we have this kind of job. We're looking for so and so person. So this lady calls me Rhoda. And Rhoda says to me, Enoh, that we have this job. We're looking for an executive secretary for the GM, and would like, I said, Rhoda, I'll send you my CV immediately. And so I sent my CV to her. What was funny was the day she called me for the interview, once I got in for the interview, the same person who used to be like a friend of my friend in Joe Services now was the GM. So immediately he saw me, he said, I don't think we have a contest here. But just do the test, just do the test. So I did the test, and he was like, oh, you're taking, go and do the medicals and all. So that's how I got into the oil industry.
Wow.
I worked with Joe Services, and after I'd worked for 4 years with Joe Services, I moved to SPI. I worked for about 4 or 5 years with SPI, and then I came back to the church office.
How did you come back to church office?
While I was working with SPI, I got to work with an atheist, and it wasn't easy working with him. It was difficult because he knew I was
a Christian.
It was difficult. But when we started finding our rhythm, by that time, Pastor Larry had moved the church office to his present location, and really he had sent out the old staff and wanted to start
something fresh.
So Pastor Goke called me from Lagos, kept calling me and asking me, come back to the church office. Pastor Larry needed help and all of that. So I had 2 options. There was one to go to Total, to go and do a project work at Total. And then the second one was work in the church office. Well, I think I wanted some safety. I don't know why I chose the church office, but I ended up going to the church office, even though it was a drop in pay at the time.
So when you look back, do you think that you could have made maybe not a different decision, but a more beneficial one? Somehow merged both jobs together, just something. Do you think that right now, if you look back, do you think, well, I couldn't have made a better decision?
When I told you that God said he was sending me through a school, it was House on the Rock.
Yeah.
So most of what I've learned as a person has been working in House on the Rock.
Okay.
Most of what has grounded me today to be able to work anywhere else are skills that I learned in House on the Rock. So, frankly, I may not have been a better person if I had worked anywhere else.
Okay.
I don't think, for the path where I find myself now, I don't think that I would have been best suited if I had been anywhere else.
Right. So the next question I want to ask is how you find a balance between who you used to be, who you are now, and the environment you find yourself, because you are a pastor in church, House on the Rock. You are in charge of Fire Lounge, and I think Fire has some kind of reputation. Yeah. And you are also yourself, someone striving every day to be more like Christ, to be kind. So how do you find the balance? Because they're like 2 extremes. Fire is an extreme, House on the Rock is an extreme. You as an individual, you're coming from somewhere, you're also heading to somewhere. How do you balance all of those every day?
I think that being a pastor, first off, I'm a very committed Christian. The title pastor is by virtue of leadership in the church. Okay. Now, people expect magic to happen, but wherever we go to, we spread light. So there are things that I'm certain will not happen in our operational practice here. I cannot determine what people do and the kind of people that come, but I can determine the kind of service we offer. And that's where I can regulate the light that we give. Yeah. A lot of people have asked me, how can a pastor be in this kind of environment? And I am asking, what kind of environment? There are pastors who run hotels, who own hotels. We may not sell alcohol, maybe, in the hotels. Well, I don't own this place. I work. And so if the owner says that alcohol is going to be sold, I'm not imbibing it. And I hope that people that I know are not imbibing it. But I can't stop anybody who wants to buy. And frankly, you can have a place where you say you can go to parties and the person is like, no, I'm not going to serve alcohol. And people will bring their own alcohol. What do you do about it?
Yeah.
You can't do a lot about it. So it's people's personal choices. And I hope that they will get the light. But for a job, and this was seen as a challenge. Could I do this when I left the church office? Could I run this place? I didn't know. I'd never done anything hospitality before.
Wow.
But for 7 years, I've put my all in this and I've seen it grow. I've seen the income increase. So I know I'm doing a good thing here. It's a job like any other.
Does it in any way influence your state of mind?
That's the thing. When I was in the church office, I could go for a week without studying my Bible or praying. But here I cannot afford not to. I literally, somebody asked me the other day, how do you pay the bills around here? How do you keep this place profitable? The first thing that came out of my mouth is that it's God.
Wow.
Because by myself, I couldn't have had the grace to do this. I mean, I'm coming from two different extremes. I'm coming from church office to come and work in a place like this.
Yeah.
I need God like yesterday to be able to run this place. You know, here you see the practicality of somebody coming, eating up, drinking up, and not paying, and walking away. I have to use everything nice inside of me to try to get those funds in, you know. So there are two different experiences, and I'm also super glad for this.
Oh, that's good. A question went through my mind because you mentioned you were intelligent and you're really pretty. So I can imagine what you were looking like back then. Yeah. And then a smart, pretty girl who knows exactly what she wants. She's seen this extreme. She's now, it's like an added advantage to have Jesus. So it's like you've experienced everything. What was that phase of your life when you were fully conscious of, I'm a fine girl, I can get anything I want, my parents are doing okay, I come from a decent family, and see, I can even walk in Total, Shell, or even a church. So I have it all put together. What was that phase of your life like, if you were ever at that consciousness?
I've never felt comfortable or confident in my looks or myself. In fact, I had a very strange encounter. It's not something anybody is proud to say, but when I got kidnapped some years ago, I remember the guy that picked me up asked me, call your husband. And I said, I'm not married. I stay with my parents. He said, you are not married. Do you have bad character? So how can a pretty woman like you say you're not married? In the moment, I was shaking, vibrating with fear. But later on, when I came out, I was like, no, what, that guy? Come on. Okay, so but the truth is, I've never really like when I was in University of Uyo, I told you I made some crazy decisions, lived a very riotous life. When I got out of there and I got born again in Port Harcourt, I felt the need to hide.
How do you mean hide?
I didn't pay attention to myself. When I was in the church office, I wore only black. I never wore colors. I wore only black. I could go for days without makeup. So if I look at myself then, I look at myself now, I let myself look dowdy at the time.
Was there a reason?
I can't even tell. So I had this period where I knew it was a conscious thought that came to me that like 2 years, 3 years has passed. Nobody is paying attention to me. Nobody is asking me out or anything like that. I don't think there was any conscious. I was just given to work at the time.
Was it given to work or wanting to feel humble for God, like not to
Maybe.
do too much? I'm asking that because I think I go through that sometimes. I'm like, why all the flashy colors? Why not just stay simple and just decent and let God do his thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, I kept feeling like if I were going to get married, God would bring me a husband.
You know?
I don't have. So when I run this place and I see girls come with one man and then they see another man and they quickly go to drop their numbers, their telephone numbers, I'm like, wow, they're really ambitious because maybe if I was doing this, I would have married.
Hunting wildly.
I'm telling you, maybe I was doing this, I would have married. It's just different thoughts that run through my head. But at that time, it wasn't a thought in my head. So like I've actually gone through not being asked out for a very long period of time that I actually recognize, nobody has asked me out. When I was getting to be 45, I remember making a conscious decision to leave the church office, number one, and to leave, literally.
To come alive.
Yeah. So
What did that feel like?
I'm loving it.
Oh, you're still doing it now.
Yes.
So what does it comprise of?
Intentionality,
With
life, living. It doesn't have to do with who is on whose arm I'm on. It really has to do with coming out every day, putting out my best face, making up if I have to, getting my hair done, dressing up, just loving life.
wow. Okay. I think I really need to do a lot of introspective, thing. But okay, let me still stick on that coming alive. Living life, loving life, having your face made up, fixing your hair, looking the best way you want. Do you have this? Okay, well, you said you're enjoying it, so I don't think you. I was going to ask if you sometimes feel like, is this what God wants me to be doing? Because sometimes I think we think on God's behalf, and then we say to ourselves, maybe God doesn't want me to do like this. It looks like a bad thing. Like if I'm too flashy and I'm too loud and I'm too out there. And I'm saying this because I know a lot of girls have this kind of challenge, especially Christian girls, because they want to be right in the sight of God, and certain things that feels pleasing to our person and to our flesh. It feels sometimes like we're committing sin or we're aiding sin.
But if God has made you in a certain light and you hide it, what good is that for God? If God tells me that if I'm fasting, I should still make sure my hair is combed, my face is made up, and I should come out looking my best, and that's on a day that I'm fasting, it means that I don't have any reason not to look my best. hiding does not make me feel better anyway. So
it makes being a Christian so
tedious. Yeah. Now, I've worked here since 2017, so this would be like 8 years. So I've worked here for like 8 years, and frankly speaking, you have guys who come here, who are here with other girls, but when they come, one came here and said to me, he said, I hear you are the ice woman. You don't agree for any man who comes here. And I'm like, you are carrying a little girl on your arm and you're coming to look for an old woman. He said, you don't look like an old woman, Joe. You don't look like an old woman, Joe. There's another one who came, and then somebody else from church came. Oh, like pastor. Immediately he heard I was pastor. Started asking me out. I said, Chairman, you have seen me before. You didn't ask me out. It's when you want to sleep with pastor. That's what you're looking for. But you see, the truth is, if you don't look a certain way, they actually won't pay attention to you. They won't even see that there can be that woman that they can ask out who will say no.
Wow.
And say no on the basis of principles. Because I'll tell you to your face, you're married. I can't date you. And once you do that, it's like, really? Mm-hmm. Because they have married women who come out with them sometimes. I think that we are light when we show up as light.
Wow. That's good. We're light when we show up as light. So, let me tell you what's going through my head. We're going to continue this interview. What's going through my head is that I think we're going to have more sessions of conversation for specific things as regards being a girl child and also a Christian who also wants to be light in her thought of what being light is, but also in tune to what God wants her to be. We're going to have a lengthy conversation. Maybe God help us. But back to you, Pastor Enoh. You said something, I'm going to get to that. But let me talk about your working with Pastor Larry. You used to be the boss of Pastor Larry. And, well, in a way.
Yeah.
And now he is the boss. Did you at any point in time feel like, am I supposed to be listening to this guy? I know, of course, because you want to be a Christian, you say, okay, let me just be humble. But that human feeling of, see this boy that I was in charge of before. Like, have you ever felt like that before?
The first time I attended the spiritual authority class, something broke in me.
Wow.
And what broke was because I had a boss then in the Shell environment who wouldn't come to work. And he would make me do all the work. So I resented him. I felt like he was lazy. I didn't realize that I was being given an opportunity to do things that were far ahead in my future. To attend meetings with people in Shell. A lot of people in Shell thought I was a Shell staff. They didn't realize that I was a third-party staff. Wow. In fact, one that came into the Shell environment to come and man machines.
Wow.
So when I attended the class and I realized that he was only giving me an advantage to be a better person, it also helped me see any delegated authority above me as literally Lord. I tell my class that marriage offers have come to me, but every time I think about them and I think about the people, and I see that really they are unbelievers most of the time, I have made the choice not to be bound with an unbeliever. If a Christian will not come, let's stay. Because I understand how much I've invested myself in being submitted to authority.
Yeah.
So working with Pastor Larry was not difficult because I realized that he was authority. Once I could figure that out in my head, it was easy to do exactly whatever it took to make him the boss, to keep him as the boss. It's And in fact, for anybody at all, to be honest. I went for a job interview once and they were telling me, oh, whoever you're going to work with is going to be younger than you. How do you intend to manage? And I recall at that interview, I didn't have the right words to put it without sounding churchy. I've grown beyond. Every day I'm studying. Just yesterday, I finished a course on AI, doing AI essentials on ALX. And the truth is, I'm equipping myself to do more every day. I'm trying to keep my head in a teachable place. And doing that means that I don't think that I have all of that I can do all things. It means that there are potentials in the future. And it also means that at some point, I may even work with somebody that is much younger than me.
Yeah.
The CEOs these days are turning out to be 20 something.
Yes.
So I have to live with the idea. If I'm going to earn a paycheck, except I want to be the CEO myself. So I say that to say that I think I already made peace with myself, understanding that once God has put somebody in authority over you, then he needs you to support that person, whether or not you like it. We read the story of Moses. Moses was younger than Aaron.
Yes.
But when Moses went to support Joshua in a war where he had to lift his hands up, it was Aaron and Hur who had his hands up. And they had to be older than him. It really, I don't think age plays or the titles that you were in before plays any role at all in who you serve in your later years. I just think that we all have to be accepting to understand that sometimes would actually serve people rather than have them be in our service.
Oh, that's good to know. Let's talk about your choosing not to get married. Initially, you made a statement. You said while you were in church office, and if I'm going to get married, then the husband should come. So, and you also mentioned that you left church office at 45. So, does that mean that you've always had it in mind that marriage has never been a top priority for you?
I never made it bother me. Did I pray about marriage? Yes, severally. And funny enough, every time I prayed about marriage, that night I'll have a dream and see myself on a preaching stage. So I made my peace with having love for my life, regardless of marriage, whether it comes or not. Having love for my life, regardless of whether I have my own biological children. Though I made peace with it. If I marry, I'm glad. There are some times when I think about the marriage issues that I deal with now that I'm like, Father, thank you.
Let's get to this. But if it comes now, are you open to being married?
I'm more mature. I'm more mature now. I've learned a lot. And I hope that it will be one of peace. And I'd be glad to meet somebody that I can be a partner to for the rest of my days. However, if it doesn't come, girl,
It still doesn't bother you.
I would say that we're looking for Prince Charming sometimes to show out of the blues, but sometimes it may just be that friendship. And I have found that friendship matters much more than
Prince
Charming coming to soap you. And I hope that there's an odogu in the person that you're friends with who will actually make your life a wonderful one. But beyond that, I think friendship. Now, I grew up with parents who used to laugh intensely. Oh, my world. whenever I think about my parents, I think about the joys they used to have. I mean, they wake up in the morning, they've prayed together, and then they get into the bathroom to take a bath, and there they'll start gisting about their different colleagues, gossiping and laughing intensely. Early in the morning, you wake up and hear people laughing and having, but it was how they kept their friendships going. Um, we used to have friends who stayed over in our house after school holidays. Maybe they can't go back to the east where they lived. And one of them asked us once, why don't your parents ever quarrel? Is it because of the small bed that they sleep on? Maybe one person will turn and then hit the other, and then they won't be able to sleep and all of that. And we didn't have an answer for it. We just thought it was a funny question to ask. But they set such an example for us that I know that friendship in marriage and realizing that both of you are part of a team is probably the most important thing that you have in that union. How you feel, heartbeats, how you feel about people can change. I had a friend whose husband didn't have, the kind of school he went to was Otakara. But he grew up successful. So he ran a bank and all of that. And his culture, he could wake up in the morning and the kids are in the bathroom. Then they had a smaller house. He would go into the kitchen sink and brush his mouth and not remember to rinse off this thing. She would come, she'll be screaming, she'll be shouting, she'll be breathing hard and fast. Then you hear her go and start chanting, I love my husband, I love my husband, I love my husband. And one day I asked her, why do you do that? She said, because if she says it long enough, her head will register it and her heart will feel
Accept
it. Because there are times when you really don't feel that love in marriage. So while there are heartbeats when you meet the person first, when the person is courting you, he's putting his best foot forward. When you get into the house, that's when you know who you really married. And if you're Christian and you're not hanging out in his physical space a lot so that you guys don't get tempted and stuff like that, it will be a huge shocker when you get into the house, when you see things that he has lived with as a single man for a very long time. It may really shock you out of love or out of what you perceive to be love, which is the fluttering heart and all of that. And it may leave you feeling like, gosh, can I do this for another 50 years? But if you have built friendship, there are many things we forgive friends for that we don't forgive spouses for.
Let's talk about your parents. How do they feel about you not being married?
Well, my mom used to have such an issue about it. Every night before I turned 40, even when I worked in the church office, so I'll say maybe till 45, she'll come to my bed and no, are you saying that there's nobody and all of that?
Did they have a script? I think they all read a script.
She'll come and no. In the night, every night, she'll come and no. When you are coming back from that church office, you'll be singing all the way on our street. Everybody knows you as that sister that comes back late in the night, singing at the top of her voice, because I have one chorus or the other as I'm coming back. Say no. Everybody, if they are coming to marry you now, they'll just be asking our street people. They will know that sister that comes back late in the night. She did it and did it and did it. And I think at the time when I just left the church office, she just realized, maybe she's resigned to never getting married. So she doesn't have my time again.
So they're all cool with it.
She doesn't talk to me about it.
Oh.
She doesn't talk to me about it. Now she's all, and no, you should adopt a child. I say, and I agree with you. I just have to have school fees money first. Because it would be sad to bring a child to my life and not have school fees for her. I should have just left her where she was.
Yeah.
So
it means you would want to have a girl child?
Yes.
Not a boy child?
No, I don't think so. I want a girl. I want a girl and I want her quick. And the reason why I want a girl is because I hope that I can imbibe some truth about being a virtuous woman to somebody.
Wow.
I got that late in my life. And I just hope that there will be at least one girl that would know what it is like to keep her dignity and her body, to celebrate life regardless of who is in it. To work tirelessly to be a woman that is on top, not wait for any man. And that's not being feminist.
Yeah,
That's
but there's a lot of us that would need that. I hope it's not too late for us.
I actually wanted to start a podcast, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And that podcast was supposed to address, or is supposed to address, girls having fun, but having fun crazily. So you have a girl come out and she's probably with a guy. She's the one who takes the drugs. She's the one who smokes all kinds of nonsense. And the guy is cool. He's taking care of his body. She's the one who is naked. And the guy is properly dressed. And we still don't realize that we're, in trying to please the men, we hurt ourselves.
A lot.
I wish. I see 14-year-olds. I see 15, 16, 17-year-olds that have lost their minds. And I say lose their minds because there are some mothers who are encouraging them into this madness. I just wish we realize the treasures that we are. So really, that's what I want to address it with that podcast.
So when are we expecting this podcast?
I don't know.
See, I think I have a gift. I have a gift of pushing people. So maybe you would be my next client. We're going to start that podcast this year. Believe me, we're going to start this year. Well, I want to ask, at the stage you're in, with your experience, with the life that you have now, apart from, not probably meeting God earlier, what would you say you regret most, if there is any?
It's deep. My deepest regret is not failure. It's wrong choices made. Wrong choices. Wrong choices with my body, wrong choices. I first got born again because I thought I was pregnant. No, I was pregnant. It's not I thought. I remember going for a fellowship, and at that fellowship, apparently it was an ectopic pregnancy because I had a procedure and I thought I was clear, but I was still pregnant. I was still feeling the symptoms. So whether it was a set of twins and one was hidden in the fallopian tube, I don't know. However, I got for this program and I was trying to bribe God. If you take out this pregnancy, if the pregnancy stays, my parents will die. But if you take out this pregnancy, I promise you, I will serve you for the rest of my life. I was in Uniport at the time. And that day, a woman, it was those kind of meetings that somebody would say Jesus was here and Jesus took out an ectopic pregnancy. I'd never heard the term before that day. But immediately she said it, I knew it was me.
Wow.
The next morning, I saw my period.
Wow. Was that your... Let me let you talk.
So my entry into faith was dramatic. It was God on a full-scale drama production, but it was the best decision I've taken in my life. So when you talk about regrets, I had had several procedures before that particular procedure, but having done that final procedure, I felt the premonition of death, which is why I ran to church, because I did not know why I was feeling like I was going to die. But Jesus stepped in. And I can't stop serving him.
Can I get a hug?
By all means.
Would you say that was your turning point?
Yes. It was the decision I needed to go to Jesus. After that day, I couldn't not serve God. I didn't turn perfect after that day. I still made crazy mistakes. But Jesus became my confidant. I don't serve because it's required of us to serve. I just don't know how to do anything else. I keep saying to myself, if I go to another church, I'll just go and sit at the back. But I have a feeling that Pastor Enoh will show up.
It will never work. Wow.
So like this, I've just decided I'm going to open one ticket I have to go for experience. And then this morning I was telling myself I should call Pastor Goke and tell him I'm going to be at experience. What does he want me to do? Who goes to experience to go and walk? Well.
Wow. You think yourself more of a servant.
Oh yeah.
Based on all that you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm called to make things better.
Do you think, I was going to ask if you would at any point in time want to open your own establishments because you've been here for quite a while. But now that I'm hearing a good side of you just wants to serve people. I know you can serve people even while being the CEO, but is that in your plan?
Yeah, I'm thinking about starting a farm.
Oh, lovely.
I'm thinking very seriously about starting a farm. I think it will be done sometime next year. So I want to set up a herd of goats, rams, or is it sheep? Sheep don't thrive in Nigeria. Well, we'll see. So I actually want to also do the holoponic farming, where you use water and nutrients. We'll see. Those are some of the things that have come to my mind, apart from owning a few coffee shops here and there.
You would always prefer coffee to tea?
Oh yes,
Yes.
Forever. My first introduction to coffee was when I was in secondary school. I felt everybody said, take coffee, then you won't sleep. You can wake up, you can stay up and read. I took coffee and immediately I slept. I slept deeply and intensely. I said, oh, okay, so this doesn't work for me in that regard. So I became a coffee person. But not from secondary school. When I started working in geoservices, I had a boss that was
crazy about coffee.
So you brew coffee for him. So, and the brewing place was in my office. The smell was always there. So
amazing.
I picked up on it and I've been a coffee girl since.
That's really nice. So, Pastor Enoh, I know that we're going to start that podcast because it's going to be a blessing to yourself speaking and the rest of us receiving. I know it's going to start this year.
Okay.
But I want to say thank you. We did not have a lengthy conversation as much as I thought, but I'm sure your podcast, I'm going to be done. But I really want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for being vulnerable. I want to say thank you for pouring out yourself like you did. And I want to say thank you for what you will do in the future, because I can see that it's going to be a huge blessing to a lot of us girls.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I was going to ask a question if you have... I was going to ask if you've had issues where probably people in church, maybe pastors' wives or regular members, get to, for any reason, use the fact that you're not married to, make a slight.
If they ever did, I don't pay attention to it.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Because truthfully, as a person, if I already accept something, nothing you can do can bite. So humans being who they are, I'm sure there's talks here and there. For some of the male pastors, I think prior to now was having a woman give instructions. Sometimes it didn't sit well. I know that I had a few issues with a few of them at that time, but I think they've pretty much gotten the memo now. So if anything is said behind me, trust me, it's behind me. And I never pay attention to what is said behind me. I don't even stay after church to sit down and hear what somebody said. I don't think that people even have the audacity to come to me to say, this person said, whatever is being said, it's not a problem. I really don't care. So long as I live a good life, I'm good.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Pastor Enoh. I love you so much. I think I even love you much more now. But thank you. It's been such a blessing.
Thank you. I had a great conversation with you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.